The home of the Berwick Bulldogs. This is W234BH Berwick at 94.7, WBWX W242CY Berwick at 96.3, W282CO Bloomsburg at 104.3, W288CF Danville at 105.5, and streaming online at thisispopradio.com. Pop Radio, a Seven Mountains Media radio station. Just 1 hour before kickoff, it's time for the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio. A conversation with Berwick Bulldogs Mike Bennett and the voice of the Dogs, Jim Doyle. Let's go! Brought to you by Bob Subs, W&L Subaru, Nissan, Mazda, and Collision Center, First Columbia Bank and Trust, Flick Brothers Electric, Independence Ford, Preferred Portables, Mayo Funeral Home, Neighbor Fence Company, S.J. Kowalski, Reds Roofing, Nespoli Jewelers, ND Accounting, Mason Monogram, Eco First, Lehigh Valley Health Network, and Blaze Alexander Family Buick GMC of Bloomsburg.
Well, tonight the Bulldogs are on the road taking on the Comets of Crestwood here in Mountaintop. Comets are 4-4, but they've won 4 of their last 5 games. Bulldogs are 2-6 after last Friday's loss to Danville at Crispin Field. Bo, obviously, when you play an offensive juggernaut like Danville, you have to score a lot to stay in the game. Your offense moved the ball. In fact, in the first half, we had you at 261 yards in total offense, just 13 yards less than Danville. That should have translated into more than the 6 points you had at the half. Why didn't it?
Absolutely. We just didn't. We were in the plus 20 total 3 times that we didn't get any points out. We tried to kick the field goal and won. But in the first quarter, it was 14-0, and we were in the plus 20, and we didn't score. So I told the guys yesterday as we were watching film and didn't realize all that until you see the film, and said you score here 14-7 changes people's little. How they run things or their thinking or whatever. And I said it could change the whole, phase of the game. That's why we just got to be, we got to get better in the plus 20.
Yeah, maybe your best drive was after Danville scored early, started at your 7, reached their 11-yard line. Then that field goal attempt, that snap, they take over at the 25. 3 plays later, it's 14-0. That's a turnaround point in the game.
Absolutely. I mean, their big plays just killed us. I mean, we had some secondary woes, and they hit some big plays. And our theory is don't give up big plays, and they add up real quick. And that's how it did. I don't think the game was as lopsided score-wise as it was on the field. Like you said, we ended up with a lot of yards rushing inside the plus 23 times.
Your lone score came in that first half, a 49-yard touchdown pass from Ethan Lear to Braylon Hawkins. What made that play go?
It was a good read by Ethan, and he floated it just nice. He played fake, got the free safety up a little bit, and just put it over Bo's head. Was playing free safety, Bo Sheptalk, and made a great throw. I mean, it was very, very close to being batted down, but he put it up nice.
Recently, I talked to former Berwick great Dave Robbins, who's working with your quarterbacks, and we were talking about Ethan Lear. And Dave says, boy, I just wish I had one more year with him. That is regret because he's been coming on, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's really when he runs, he kind of puts his per se up and he feels a little bit better. We just got to work a little more on his passing game. He's just not as confident now as throwing throws and getting some time, to throw it. But we have to put him in better position too. But his better half is his running game for sure.
One injury that you had that was unfortunate relatively early in the game was to your center, Gavin Jones. He's the smallest of your offensive linemen, but he's done a nice job this year, hasn't he?
I wish everybody had a heart like Gavin Jones. I mean, Gavin Jones moves around, and I remember him, and I told these guys in the beginning of the year, we used to play JVs last year, and this guy used to battle 300-pound lineman or 260. I mean, here's a little guy who used to play defensive end, and he would battle to the end. And to me, to have a motor and have a heart like that, there's a place for Gavin here.
Well, Rocco Romeo took his place, and I don't know how he did as far as blocking goes, but there were no issues with snaps, and when you're operating out of shotgun on every play, that's got to be a concern.
Yeah, he did a good job on the snaps. Blocking-wise, Rocco hasn't played much center, for us. And Rocco was out, I think, 2 or 3 games for a concussion. So he just recently came back. So it was to his credit that he went in there and did the best that he could. That's all we can ask.
Well, more Berwick football talk with Bo Orlando coming up next. You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio.
The subs at Bob's Subs and Pizza in Berwick have so much meat in them you'll be having leftovers for days. The Italian is piled high with fresh slices of ham, capicola, salami, and pepperoni on a freshly baked bun. Bob's cheesesteak oozes with cheesy goodness woven into a mountain of thinly sliced ribeye steak. So if you're tired of bland, unsatisfying subs, Bob's Subs and Pizza in Berwick is your new go-to. With over 22 different kinds of sumptuous, hearty subs, you'll find just the one or two to cure your cravings. And the pizza at Bob's Subs and Pizza? Taste the difference.
The Mayo Funeral Homes, located at 110 Chestnut Street in Berwick and 77 Main Street in Chickashinny, are proud sponsors of Berwick Bulldog football. The Mayo Funeral Homes, serving all faiths, makes it easier for those you love with pre-arranged funeral counseling, insurance, and pre-financed funerals. Mayo Funeral Homes also offers expert guidance in both traditional and cremation services. Mayo Funeral Homes, perfection in every detail.
Red's Roofing, the roofing ninjas of Berwick. The roofing experts for all of our listening area. With over 30 years experience and great rates. Why go anywhere else when Red's Roofing will get the job done right for your roofing, decks, and siding. Specializing in metal roofs, rubber roofs, and shingles. Most of the work is done in one day. Red's Roofing, the roofing ninjas. Now located in Dushore and also serving Bradford and Sullivan counties with owner Harry Titus, a supporter of the Berwick football team and St. Jude Children's Hospital. Call 570-752-4351.
Are you serious? Oh my gosh, I might cry.
Hey, that's Jen Mapes from Mapes Farm Fresh in New Berlin. They're one of this year's recipients in the Seven Mountains Media Local Business Grant.
We're a very small family dairy farm, and I know this $10,000 grant's really going to help us out.
The Seven Mountains Media Local Business Grant is proudly supported by these amazing local businesses: W&L Subaru Mazda Nissan, Rocky Auctions, and Wise Markets.
You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio with the voice of the Berwick Bulldogs, Jim Doyle.
The next to the last weekend of high school football's regular season kicks off tonight here at Comet Stadium in Mountaintop. The Bulldogs will go against the defending District 2 4A champion Comets of Crestwood. Tough night for your team's defense last week, Bo, as Danville quarterback Madden Patrick threw for 304 yards and 5 touchdowns. For those who weren't at the game and haven't seen Danville, what makes him so good?
He's a very good passer. They give him a lot of time. I mean, he's got a pretty decent line. They give him some time. He's back there. They have so many athletes all over the place. You know, they're mostly in the trips open set for 80-90% of the game, and he spreads you out. And he's got a back who's very dangerous out of the thing. So you have 5. Specifically 5 wide receivers there. So that's pretty tough to cover up all of them.
He's 6'1", 175. Still has another year. He's just a junior. You played Division I football. You know what a Division I quarterback looks like. Is he potentially one?
He throws a very nice ball. I mean, it's kind of hard to see him one game and see what he did. But like you said, he's playing on a very good team, too. So that's kind of, see him when he plays a little tougher competition when they play the Southerns and see what he does against some of the tougher teams. So being Division I is, these days is pretty outstanding. I mean, he's a very, very good quarterback. Kind of hard to say about Division I.
They have 3 or 4 good receivers to go to. That's a big plus for him. Your secondary was up against it. The secondary's best friend is a strong pass rush. Why is it difficult to generate one against Danville?
Well, we just we had our linebacker was out, so we had a young guy playing an inside linebacker, and if you throw an extra blitzer on him, then someone's open out in the flats and everything. Like I said, having those 4 wide receivers plus a back is very dangerous. So if you don't get any heat on him, he's sitting back there packing, and like I said, he has some great wide receivers.
While your defense has struggled this season, I've been impressed more and more as the season's gone with a sophomore linebacker, Skylar Neville. He's been doing well, hasn't he?
Skylar, as far as he's a little undersized, but Skylar didn't know what he was doing at first. But we tell him just make plays, go around and make plays. And I told the guys last night in the meeting, and I said, everybody's going to make mistakes. We try to cut down mistakes and penalties, against good football teams. But if you're going to make a mistake, you do it 100 miles an hour. And, he goes. I mean, he's made some plays where he's not in great position, but, he just hustles to the ball. He's got a great motor on him.
You mentioned linebacker being out. That was Jimmy DeAndrea. He's likely to miss this game as well. he is one of those 100 miles an hour guys, isn't he?
Yeah, Jimmy's probably one of the fastest guys on our team, and he's pretty nice. He's probably 185 pounds, and Jimmy's solid, and we dearly miss Jimmy. I mean, Jimmy runs the ball and get him on the corners, but we definitely miss him inside.
Later in tonight's show, Bo will tell us about tonight's opponent, the Comets of Crestwood. But up next, it's the Bulldog Spotlight feature. You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio.
Experience a drive that makes you feel more connected than ever before at W&L Mazda. Discover the exhilarating power and stunning design of the all-new Mazda CX-90. Right now, we have as low as 3.9% financing for 60 months on this third-row SUV with seating up to 8, or go swiftly and confidently in a fuel-efficient Mazda CX-30, which offers up to 33 miles per gallon and as low as 2.9% financing for 60 months. We're off Route 11 in Northumberland. Online at WNLMazda.com. Financing for well-qualified applicants only. Offer cannot be combined with any other offers. See dealer for complete details. Ends October 31st.
As a community bank, First Columbia Bank and Trust knows the value of helping our young people dream, excel, and reach their goals. For more than 120 years, First Columbia has been committed to helping our communities prosper and our youth succeed. We're proud to invest in our youth through athletics, the arts, and education. First Columbia Bank and Trust, with you and your children every step of the way.
Every step of the way. First Columbia Bank.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth, and if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS is raising the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes, and further rate hikes are expected. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. So if you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. In fact, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-480-6932. 800-480-6932. 800-480-6932.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio with the voice of the Berwick Bulldogs, Jim Doyle.
Tonight here at Mountaintop, the 22nd meeting between Berwick and Crestwood. The Bulldogs lead the series 15-6, but the Comets beat the Dogs twice last season. A regular season game at Crispin Field, a District 2 4A semifinal here at Comet Stadium. In our next segment, Bo will tell us about Crestwood, but now it's time for our weekly feature, Bulldog Spotlight. Tonight, the spotlight is on senior Braylon Hawkins. Lately, Braylon has become a real force in offense against Danville. 5 receptions for 130 yards and a touchdown. He also had a run of 21 yards. But what accounts for his emergence as an offensive threat as this season's gone along?
Yeah, I mean, he's a bonus for us. I mean, we always knew Braylon was a good player, and like I said, he can run, and he's fearless. That's one thing about Braylon. Like, it doesn't matter who you're playing or what size or whatever. He's just got a big heart, and he's a tough kid. And, that's the kind of the culture we want to build here. But he's emerged as doing the offense, and being that Billy was out for a couple games, he's really helped us out. So getting Billy back will help us back.
He's listed as 5'11", 165 pounds. What about his tangible speed, strength?
He's very quick and he's strong. I mean, he's a wrestler, so he's one of those kids that gets down and dirty, and that's what we like. He's not also physically tough; he's mentally tough.
Braylon has played linebacker. He's played safety. In the best case scenario, what's his best position to help your team?
I don't know. Like we've been having some secondary problems this year, so we felt that he was the best of playing in the secondary. Now he hasn't played much secondary for us his whole career here, so he's a little bit raw on some of the coverages and how to get, because it's hard to cover someone in space when you're not used to it. He was always up in the line of scrimmage and being there and his forte, but he was a little small being on the corner, taking on the tackle. So our best bet is kind of like strong safety, bringing him down into the box, or as some type of linebacker.
I think as fans, we're always looking for the next big thing. You're always looking at that newcomer coming along, that freshman emerging. But there is something to be said for a senior popping in his last season, which is what Braylon's doing right now. Obviously, you wish you had him for more, but it's good to see, isn't it?
Absolutely. You know, we talked last night after a meeting, and I told those guys, like, how do you want to be remembered? I said, some of you seniors, this might be your last 2 games or playoffs, whatever it might be, your last, 3 games in a Berwick uniform. How do you want to be remembered? I mean, don't walk away. I should have did this. I should have did that. I said, it's got to be all out, or I told the guys, if you're not in it for the next 2 games, because I know our coaching staff's going to do everything. I hate to lose, and I'm always all in it. So if you don't, you can leave, and nobody left, and that's what I like about this group. We had the gauntlet of a schedule the last 2 games. I mean, Dallas was just total. We just laid an egg. We didn't do anything. This one was, like I said, our offense. We rolled up some yardage. We did some things, and I told those guys, "You're better than you are, than your record is." And when you start believing that, and you start believing in yourself, you'll start winning football games. So, we kind of challenged them. We kind of challenged, and hopefully these last 2 weeks is a different part of the schedule.
In the Bulldog Spotlight, senior Braylon Hawkins. Tonight, Braylon and his Bulldog teammates take on Crestwood here at Mountaintop. Up next, Bo will tell us about the Comets offense. You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio.
Jim Doyle and the Berwick Bulldogs Coach Mike Bennett Show. Brought to you by Bob Subs, W&L Subaru, Nissan, Mazda, and Collision Center, First Columbia Bank and Trust, Wood Brothers Electric, Independence Ford, Preferred Portables, Mayo Funeral Home, Neighbor Fence Company, S.J. Kowalski, Reds Roofing, Nespoli Jewelers, ND Accounting, Mason Monogram, Eco First, Lehigh Valley Health Network, and Blaze Alexander Family Buick GMC of Bloomsburg. The Coach Bennett Show, only right here on Pop Radio.
Even though it's Halloween at Alexander Family Buick GMC in Bloomsburg, we're not afraid. We're not afraid of the strike because we have over 90 new Buicks and GMCs in stock now and more on the way. Plus, we need your trade. So we're also giving you a 20% buyback bonus on your trade. You'll get 20% over the KBB fair trade value. So there's nothing to fear here. Just great selection, great deals, and more for your trade. All this month at Alexander Family Buick GMC, the lowest price guaranteed.
Mason's Monogramming has the largest selection of Bulldog items in Berwick. Family owned with more than 30 years experience and new Bulldog wear for every age, including masks, tees, polos, sweater shirts, jackets, and hats. They even have brand new indestructible silicone cups, koozies, car coasters, decals, and more. Shop at masonsmonogram.com for their new items and select in-person pickup or shipping right to you. Follow their Instagram at Mason's Monogram for their latest new items. Mason's Monogram service in Berwick. Let them personalize for you.
I would recommend Seven Mountains Media because they are on top of everything when it comes to your website. Hello, my name is Stacy Charles. I'm the owner of White Horse Graphics. Well, we had a basic website built, and it was time to move the website focus on me as the owner to a business able to stand on its own. And that's what we're looking for with our new professional website that you see online now. We had security issues with our Facebook page. Immediately they called. As far as updates and things like that, they're constantly checking in, asking if there's anything that we need or updated. And as soon as I give my change to the designers, within, I would say, 24 hours, if not sooner, those changes are completed. We've had other companies that we've dealt with that I would send changes to, and it would never happen.
Let Seven Mountains Media build your next website. To learn more, visit yourstoryourhelp.com.
You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio with the voice of the Berwick Bulldogs, Jim Doyle.
The Bulldogs' final regular season road game tonight here at Comet Stadium in Mountaintop. The Dogs' opponent, Crestwood, comes to the game with a 4-4 record. They started the season with 3 close losses to teams that are still unbeaten: Valley View, Dallas, Wyoming area. Since then, they've won 4 of their last 5, including last Friday's 50-7 rout of Hanover area. Bo, for the first time this season, your defense will be facing a team that runs an old-time offense, the single wing. For our younger listeners, tell us, single wing, what does it look like and what problems does it provide?
Well, they have a little multiple of formations, but they basically, they as you would know, Jim, is the old student body. I mean, they set everybody on the right side, or whether they bunch receivers and bring 2 linemen in the backfield and scoot them up, they come at you. I mean, they're big, they're physical, and that's what they had a really good running back last year. They were really physical. Then again, this year they have some big linemen, and they just come right at you. There's no, they're not complicated on what they do. They're just going to come at you and say, you got to stop us, or this is going to move here all day.
As a play-by-play man, the thing I hate about the single wing, the one thing I'm usually sure of is who's getting the snap. But in the single wing, that snap is coming back maybe to the quarterback, maybe to the running back.
Yeah, they shift around. They'll shift over a little bit and just direct snap, and then come, like I said, they use the quarterback as an extra blocker. And like you said, there's no surprise in their offense. I mean, they're coming at you. They're basically saying, this is what we do, and if you can't stop us, then we're going to win the game.
Well, 2 weeks ago in a game against Hazleton area, the Comets lost their starting quarterback, Jaden Shedlock, to a season-ending injury. He was on his way to a 1,000-yard rushing season. He's terrific. In his place is a ninth grader, Jack Rogers, who had his first start last Friday against Hanover area. Do they run the same stuff with him?
They run the same exact stuff. They probably don't throw as much because he's a little freshman, but he's been running the ball. He's been doing the same things that they were doing. Like I said, they're not going to disguise what they're doing. I mean, they're going to keep doing the same thing. They just plug another guy in. Sheldon, their quarterback was outstanding. I mean, I remember last year in our track meet when he beat some of our guys. We were running 11-3s, and he came in at 10-7. I'm like, who's this guy? And they were like, that's the quarterback from last year, and he was a freshman last year. So be it another freshman. So hopefully this guy doesn't get some speed in a week and come and make another freshman opponent. But that was a big loss for them, though.
Well, a big loss from last year's team was Noah Schultz. He was a terrific running back. Their second leading rusher behind Shedlock this season has been senior James Barrett. He wears number 26. He had 165 yards in the winning score against Hazleton area 2 weeks ago. He is their leading rusher now with Shedlock done. Describe him.
Just tough. Whenever you talk about Crestwood, it's just tough. I mean, they're big and they're tough, and they come right at you. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It's just going to be a physical game. And I told the kids, they've controlled us. They ran all over us in the playoffs last year. They beat us in the regular season. And like I said, they do the same things. They just have different guys in there, and they're coming at you.
We don't expect to see a lot of passes from them. If they do, though, they have a big target, Matt Sklarowski, 6'3", 180-pound senior. Rogers was 2 for 2 against Hanover area, 2 touchdowns, both to Sklarowski, so he's the guy you have to point out.
Absolutely, and it makes it a little easier that they don't spread it out like the other team and have 3 or 4 or 5 wide receivers. But he's their guy, and we'll do some things over there. But you have to load the box against them because they're going to run 80% of the time, 90% of the time, and they're going big on big.
They were pretty dominant up front a year ago. That was part of their success in a great season, which they won the district and went to the state semifinals. I talked to Ryan Arcangeli, their head coach this summer. He said that the offensive line was going to be the concern because they lost three-year starters. How do they look to you?
They look solid. I mean, it doesn't look obviously when you lose 3 key players like that on the line. I mean, they were, like I said, you talk about Crestwood being physical, like they were physical and they had speed at running back and they had speed at quarterback. So those guys aren't there. These guys are a little younger put in, but they're eventually going to be that big and strong team that they usually are.
Well, up next, Bo will evaluate Crestwood's defense. You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio.
Looking for convenient and reliable dumpster rentals for your residential or commercial project? Eco First Logistics has you covered with dumpster rentals from Bloomsburg to Hazleton and surrounding areas. Their dumpster rental service is designed to make waste disposal easy, hassle-free, and eco-friendly. Whether you're planning a construction or renovation project, junk removal, or a major cleanup, they carry a range of dumpster sizes to fit your needs and ensure that what can be saved is sorted out. On the web at eco-firstlogistics.com or on Facebook.
Hi, this is Jonathan from Nespoli Jewelers in Berwick. We are happy to announce that once again we will have the Nespoli Jewelers Athlete of the Week throughout this football season. Each week, the Berwick coaches will choose an athlete who worked hard, was a good teammate, and put forth his best effort all week. We will announce this student athlete on this station prior to the Berwick football game, and we will be honoring him by donating $100 in his name to the charity of his choice. For more information on the chosen Nespoli Athlete of the Week, please visit us on our Instagram and Facebook pages.
Neighbor Fence Company has fencing for where you want it, serving Columbia, Montour, and Luzerne counties. Neighbor Fence provides top-quality residential and commercial fencing, vinyl, chain link, wood, aluminum, and ornamental fencing. Plus, vinyl railing and specialty products. Neighbor Fence Company, 1140 State Route 239 in Wapwalpin. Call 570-752-4423 or visit them online at neighborfencecompany.com. Neighbor Fence Company is a proud sponsor of local youth athletic teams.
Hi, this is Cassidy from the Independence Ford Service Department, Route 11 in Bloomsburg. Does your Ford or Lincoln vehicle need service? Having trouble getting an appointment at your usual service center? At Independence Ford, we can and will take care of all your service needs. Regardless of where you purchase your Ford or Lincoln vehicle, our goal is to get you back on the road. Give me a call for an appointment today at 784-1414.
Come and get a great deal.
The Comets of Crestwood provide. Most of last year's great season. Will they stay in that?
Yeah, they have 4-3, 4-4. They kind of bring another, hybrid in there. Depends on what you have. I mean, everything, Jim, is relative. You can run a 5-2 and pull a guy out, and then you're running a 4-3. You know what I mean? And have all these hybrids. So depending on what we give them, I think they can kind of trade off. They'll move guys out and they'll move guys into the box. Probably move more guys into the box against. Really good player. He was a good young player for him last year. His brother was pretty dominant at defensive end, but he throws another case in there. He's a tough kid.
Close losses to unbeaten teams to start the season. In both cases, all
And playing without them and being that close to them, that tells you that they're a good football team. That they're not somebody to kind of look at,
So keys for your offense, the usual: keep the football.
Keep the football. We're definitely going to run the ball. We're not going to change that. I just think we got to do a little bit more throwing the football, like usual, and kind of maybe keep it outside, keep it out of the box. They'll probably run 7-8 guys into the box on us, and we're going to have to get on the edges on them.
Well, Bo, thank you for your time once again. Best of luck against Crestwood.
Thank you very much, Jim.
Listen for another edition of the Coach Bennett Show prior to next Friday's regular season finale against Hazleton area at Crispin Field. Stay tuned now for Berwick at Crestwood football here on Pop Radio.
You've been listening to the Coach Bennett Show. Brought to you by Blaze Alexander Family Buick GMC of Bloomsburg, Lehigh Valley Health Network, Eco First, Mason Monogram, ND Accounting, Nespoli Jewelers, Reds Roofing, S.J. Kowalski, Neighbor Fence Company, Mayo Funeral Home, Bob Subs, Preferred Portables, Independence Ford, Wood Brothers Electric, First Columbia Bank and Trust, and W&L Subaru, Nissan, Mazda, and Collision Center. Stay tuned for Berwick football on Pop Radio and streaming all over the world at thisispopradio.com.